Hello my dear students, welcome back to our basic science class. In the previous class we have started our third lesson, that is celestial shadow sites. Hope you all understood what are opaque objects, transparent objects and translucent objects, etc. Let's now quickly recall the lessons we learned in the last class. Transparent objects. Objects which allow light to pass through them are known as transparent objects. Example: glass, air, clean water, etc. Opaque objects. Objects which do not allow light to pass through them are called opaque objects. Examples: book, wood, rock, wall, etc. Translucent objects. Objects that allow partial amount of light to pass through them are called translucent objects. Example: butter paper, milky glass, etc. Now, can you classify familiar substances into transparent, opaque and translucent objects? Tabulate them in your rough book, okay? Now, we can find answers to some of the questions on page number 30 of your textbook. These are the questions. Are all solid substances opaque? No, you know that. Glass is a solid material, but it is not opaque. Aren't there transparent liquids? Yes. Examples for transparent liquids are clean water, coconut oil, etc. Next question is, aren't there opaque liquids? Yes. Example for an opaque liquid is coal tar. You may have seen the use of coal tar during road tarring, haven't you? Next question is, aren't there translucent liquids? Yes, of course. Example for translucent liquid is honey. Aren't gases generally transparent? Gases are generally transparent. Example: air, LPG, etc. You know that water is a transparent liquid. Can you make water opaque? How? Its answer is yes. We can make water opaque by adding large amounts of soil, watercolor and food color, etc. in it. In our daily life, we make use of the transparency and opacity of objects. If air is opaque, sunlight can't pass through it and there will be no daytime on earth, always being night. If glass pieces were opaque, it cannot be used as front glasses of vehicles, isn't it? What will happen if all solid substances were transparent? If all solid substances were transparent, we will not be completely secure in our houses, schools, etc., isn't it? Majority of the things that we use in our daily life are opaque. We had seen this in the previous video, isn't it? If we strike light on a solid object, say a bag, the light hitting the bag do not pass through it. It will be absorbed by the bag as it's a solid object. Very little amount of light will pass through them. This is why solid objects cast shadows, as light is not able to pass through them. The area exactly behind the bag is darker, as light is not able to pass through the bag, and this is what we call as shadows. Opaque objects can only cast shadows. Let us see how to make shadow figures. Cut the shapes carefully from a cardboard as shown in the video. You may try this in your home by making other shapes using your own imagination. Okay? Switch off the light in the room so as to make the room dark. Pick up a torch and flash it in front of the objects. What do you see? These objects make its shadows on the screen, right? Now let's move these three objects and observe their shadows. Did you notice the shadow enlarges when we bring this object near the torch and gets smaller as we move it a little far away? Observe the shadows. This happens because as the object moves closer to the source of light, it could block more light coming from the light source, and hence the area of the shadow increases. Every time the distance between the object's surface and light source changes, it also changes the area of shadows. You must notice how your own shadow looks different at different times of the day. Write your findings in your craft book. Now we can try some shadow pictures formed when we hold our fingers in different ways in the path of light. You can make more shadow pictures by practicing yourself with your family members. Have you heard about shadow puppetry? No? I will tell you what is shadow puppetry, okay? It is a visual art making use of shadows. So once again, what is shadow puppetry? It is a visual art making use of shadows. Now, let's see the story of a thirsty crow in the form of shadow puppetry.
A thirsty crow found a pitcher with some water in it. But so little was there that, try as she might, she could not reach it with her beak, and it seemed as though she would die of thirst within sight of the remedy. At last, she hit upon a clever plan, dropping pebbles into the pitcher. Water rose a little higher. Until at last it reached the brim, and the knowing bird was enabled to quench her thirst. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Hope you all enjoyed and understood today's class. We shall meet on next class with another interesting topic from this chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.